Welcome everyone to week 14 of HTL 312. As we approach the end of the semester, we are shifting our focus from technical skills to your professional identity. Up to this point, you have mastered the science of histotechnology, learning the what and the how. Today, we begin discussing the who you are becoming as a healthcare professional. This transition from student to professional is a significant milestone. It is about adopting a mindset of service, accountability, and lifelong learning. We will integrate concepts from your required readings in the Posger text, specifically chapters 12 and 13. We will explore the balance between patient rights and employee responsibilities. This lecture serves as the foundation for your professional development project. By the end of this session, I want you to see yourselves as leaders, advocates, and ethical decision makers. You play a vital role in the patient's journey from diagnosis to treatment. Our objectives for this week are comprehensive because the role of a histotechnologist is multifaceted. We will define professional identity formation, which is the internal process of thinking, acting, and feeling like a professional. This is a gradual evolution, not an overnight change. We will then delve into the legalities of the workplace, analyzing your rights as an employee, from fair treatment to freedom from discrimination. However, rights do not exist in a vacuum. For every right, there is a corresponding duty. We will evaluate these responsibilities, such as maintaining competence and protecting patients from harm. Furthermore, we will examine how your rights and responsibilities are tethered to those of the patients, as discussed in Chapter 12. We will also identify specific leadership behaviors. Leadership in healthcare is often informal, focusing on communication and conflict resolution. Finally, we will provide the framework for your signature assignment. This project is your chance to reflect on your growth and set realistic goals for your future. This lecture serves as the foundation for that project, so I encourage you to take detailed notes on the insights that resonate most with your personal career aspirations. Following our discussion of learning objectives, we now turn to the critical transition from student to professional. This is often described as a rite of passage, but in healthcare, it is a high-stakes transformation. As a student, your primary responsibility has been to yourself, focusing on grades and individual performance. If you make a mistake on a lab practical, the consequence is a lower grade. However, as a professional, your responsibility shifts outward to the patient. A mistake in the histology lab, such as a mislabeled block or a poorly cut section, can lead to a potential misdiagnosis or a delayed treatment plan. This realization is the cornerstone of professional identity. When you move into the professional realm, you must start looking at the big picture. You are no longer just a person cutting for micron sections. You are a vital link in the diagnostic chain. The professional mindset requires a level of accountability far more intense than what is required in a classroom. It involves recognizing that your work has a face and a name attached to it, even if you never meet the patient in person. This shift also changes how you learn. You are no longer learning to pass an exam. You are learning to maintain the competence required to save lives. This week, we challenge you to stop asking, "Is this on the quiz?" and start asking, "How does this knowledge make me a better, safer healthcare provider?" This is the essence of the transition we are discussing. This leads us to defining what it means to be a histotechnology professional. Building on the critical transition from student to professional, we now define what truly constitutes a histotechnology professional. Many mistakenly believe that technical skill alone defines professionalism. While it is true that you must be an expert at the microtome and understand the chemistry of staining, that is merely the baseline, the entry fee for the profession. True professionalism is built on the foundation of ethical integrity. In the histology lab, much of your work is done independently. You might be the only one who knows if a specimen was slightly compromised during processing, or if a control slide did not work perfectly. Ethical integrity means you have the courage to admit those errors and fix them, even if it means more work or a delay in turnaround time. Furthermore, professional identity in histotechnology is defined by a deep commitment to quality. There is a common saying in our field: every slide is a life. A professional never forgets this. They treat every piece of tissue with the same reverence they would want for their own family members. This leads to the concept of self-regulation. A student often waits for a professor to tell them to redo a task. A professional, however, regulates themselves. They set their own high standards and hold themselves to them, regardless of whether a supervisor is watching. This self-regulation is what makes you a trusted professional. It is the reason a pathologist can look at a slide you produced and feel confident in making a life-altering diagnosis. As we go through today's material, think about how you are developing these internal standards. This distinction between skill and behavior is crucial, which brings us to our next point. Having defined professional identity, we now explore the crucial distinction and intersection between technical skill and professionalism. There is often a debate about which is more important, technical skill or professional behavior. The reality is that they are inseparable. Think of it as a competence gap. If you have incredible technical skills but lack ethics, you are a danger to the laboratory and the patients. You might take shortcuts that compromise diagnostic integrity. Conversely, if you are the most ethical, kind person in the world but cannot produce a readable slide, you are ineffective. To be a true professional, you must bridge this gap and strive for excellence in both domains. Employers in the healthcare sector often report that they can train for skill but hire for attitude. This highlights the importance of what we often call soft skills, though in reality, these are the hard skills of professionalism. These include things like clear communication, the ability to receive constructive feedback without becoming defensive, and showing respect to all members of the healthcare team, from the cleaning staff to the chief of pathology. These behaviors are indicators of your professional identity. When you are in your clinical rotations or your first job, your colleagues will notice your microtomy skills, but they will remember your reliability, your willingness to help others, and your professional demeanor during stressful situations. Our goal this week is to help you understand that your behavior is just as much a part of your job description as your technical proficiency. This leads us directly to the bedrock values of integrity and accountability. Integrity and accountability are the bedrock of everything we do in healthcare. Integrity is the consistency between your values and your daily actions. For example, if you value patient safety, integrity means you will never cut corners or ignore a malfunctioning piece of equipment. Accountability is the companion to integrity. It means you take full ownership of your work, your mistakes, and your growth. If a slide is mislabeled, the accountable professional doesn't look for someone else to blame. They identify the root cause, fix the error, and implement a strategy to prevent it from happening again. This requires a high level of transparency. We must be willing to report our own errors. While it can be uncomfortable to admit a mistake, it is the only way to ensure patient safety. Ultimately, integrity and accountability build trust. Trust is the currency of healthcare. Your coworkers, your pathologists, and ultimately your patients must be able to trust that you have done your job to the best of your ability every single time. Now, let's move beyond just following rules and consider ethical judgment. While rules and protocols are essential in the lab, they cannot cover every possible scenario. This is where ethical judgment comes in. Ethical judgment is the ability to apply moral principles to complex, gray situations. For instance, how do you handle a situation where a supervisor asks you to do something that you believe compromises quality? These aren't technical problems, they are ethical ones. Developing this judgment requires you to look beyond the letter of the law and understand the spirit of professional responsibility. Self-awareness is equally vital. To be a professional, you must have a clear understanding of your own strengths and weaknesses. If you know you struggle with a particular stain, self-awareness means you ask for help or extra training rather than struggling in silence. It also involves recognizing your own biases and how they might affect your interactions with colleagues. This leads to emotional intelligence, the ability to manage your own emotions and respond professionally even when you are stressed or tired. One of the best ways to develop these skills is through reflection. This kind of self-reflection is what turns experience into professional wisdom. Let's consider a case study that brings these concepts to life. Let's look at a practical example of professional identity in action. Imagine a student technologist, Sarah, who notices that the number of tissue pieces in a cassette doesn't match the description on the pathology requisition. She is tired, the lab is busy, and her preceptor is known for being a bit short-tempered. Sarah's first instinct might be to stay silent, assuming she's just mistaken or that it's not a big deal. This is the student mindset, prioritizing personal comfort and avoiding conflict. However, the professional identity requires a different response. The professional Sarah recognizes that this discrepancy could lead to a catastrophic error. Her professional obligation to the patient outweighs her fear of her preceptor's temper. She speaks up, stops the process, and works with the team to resolve the discrepancy. This is a near miss, and by speaking up, Sarah has protected a patient from harm. More importantly, every time you make a choice like this, you are casting a vote for the kind of professional you want to be. You are reinforcing your identity as someone who is courageous, accountable, and patient-centered. As we move into the next module on employee rights and responsibilities, keep this scenario in mind. Now, let's transition into the legal and ethical framework of the workplace, as outlined in Chapter 13 of the Posger text. As an employee in a healthcare organization, you possess a set of rights that are both legal and moral. Legal rights are those explicitly granted by the government through statutes and regulations. These include things like the right to a safe working environment, the right to be paid fairly for your work, and the right to be free from discrimination. However, we also have moral rights. These are based on the fundamental principle of human dignity. Even if a specific action isn't strictly illegal, it might still violate your moral rights to be treated with respect and fairness. As Posger notes, these rights are not absolute. They exist within a social contract. You cannot demand your rights without also accepting the responsibilities that come with them. Understanding this balance is crucial for your career. It allows you to advocate for yourself when necessary, while also remaining a dedicated and responsible member of the healthcare team. Let's start with the foundational concept, employment at will. One of the most important legal concepts you need to understand as you enter the workforce is the employment at will doctrine. In its simplest form, this doctrine means that an employer can fire an employee, and an employee can quit a job at any time for any reason or even for no reason at all. Historically, this was the standard in the United States, reflecting a hands-off approach to business. However, as society has evolved, the courts and legislatures have recognized that an at-will system without any limits can lead to significant injustice. Today, there are many exceptions to employment at will. You cannot be fired for discriminatory reasons, for whistleblowing on illegal activities, or for refusing to perform an unlawful act. Many states also recognize an implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. This means that even in an at-will state, an employer is expected to act fairly and not terminate someone just to avoid paying a bonus or out of pure malice. As a professional, you should be aware of your status. Are you an at-will employee, or do you have a contract? Understanding this helps you navigate your career with a clear sense of your legal standing. While the at-will doctrine still exists, it is now tempered by a robust framework of protections designed to ensure that the workplace remains a space of mutual respect and fairness. Next, we'll explore specific protections for employees who speak up. Following our discussion on employment at will, we now explore critical exceptions that protect employees. The public policy exception ensures you cannot be fired for actions that benefit the public, like reporting safety violations. This is often referred to as whistleblowing, a vital mechanism in healthcare for patient safety. Legal protections exist for whistleblowers, preventing retaliation from employers. This means balancing your loyalty to your employer with your higher loyalty to patient safety and the law. Building on the idea of employee protections, a fundamental right is freedom from discrimination, enforced by the EEOC. Federal law prohibits discrimination based on protected characteristics like race, gender, or age. This applies to all aspects of employment, from hiring to promotions. In a histology lab, a diverse and inclusive environment is not just legally mandated. It fosters better teamwork and communication, directly impacting diagnostic accuracy. Professionalism demands we treat every colleague with respect, ensuring an equitable workplace for all. Extending the concept of an equitable workplace, the Equal Pay Act of 1963 ensures fairness in compensation. This landmark law mandates equal pay for men and women performing equal work, jobs requiring similar skill, effort, and responsibility. While the law allows for pay differences based on seniority or merit, it strictly prohibits gender-based wage discrimination. Understanding this act empowers you to advocate for fair compensation, recognizing that your professional value should be reflected equitably in your salary. This right underscores the importance of valuing all contributions equally. While we strive for fairness in compensation, healthcare professionals also possess a deeply personal right: the right to refuse participation in procedures that violate their conscience. This right, often rooted in religious or moral beliefs, is protected by laws like the Church Amendment. However, this right is not absolute. It cannot endanger a patient's life or compromise emergency care. Professionalism requires transparent communication of these beliefs to your employer in advance, ensuring patient care remains uninterrupted. This delicate balance highlights the complex ethical landscape of healthcare. Maintaining a safe and respectful environment is paramount, and sexual harassment directly undermines this. Sexual harassment encompasses unwelcome sexual advances or conduct that creates a hostile work environment. It can manifest as quid pro quo, where job benefits are tied to sexual favors, or as pervasive behavior that makes the workplace intimidating. As professionals, we have a right to a harassment-free workplace and a duty to report such incidents. Employers are legally obligated to address these issues promptly, fostering a culture of absolute respect. This commitment to safety extends beyond legal compliance. It is a core professional responsibility. As we discuss the importance of a safe environment free from harassment, we must also consider your right to privacy. This slide explores the delicate balance between an employer's need for oversight and your personal data protection. While employers can monitor work-related communications on company devices, your personal property and health information generally remain confidential. Remember, your right to privacy is not absolute. It's balanced against the organization's legitimate business interests. This is why understanding the boundaries of digital surveillance and data protection is crucial for every professional. We must navigate these complexities to ensure both personal dignity and workplace security. Now, let's shift our focus to the other side of the coin: your professional responsibilities. Just as you have rights, you also have a fundamental duty to uphold the standards of our profession. This includes providing compassionate care, strictly adhering to safety protocols like OSHA and HIPAA, and communicating effectively. Your adherence to these standards, from following SOPs to ensuring meticulous quality control, directly impacts patient outcomes. A professional doesn't just meet these standards, they embody them daily. This active fulfillment of responsibilities is what truly defines professionalism. It's about recognizing that every action you take in the lab has a direct impact on patient well-being. Building on the idea of professional responsibilities, maintaining your competence through lifelong learning is not just a suggestion. It's a moral and legal imperative. In healthcare, stagnation is a direct risk to patient safety. You have an ethical duty to stay current with the latest scientific knowledge and techniques. This means actively engaging in continuing education, participating in professional societies like NSH, and keeping your certifications, such as ASCP, up to date. Your commitment to learning reduces errors, fosters career growth, and instills a deep sense of professional pride. It's about ensuring you always provide the highest standard of care, because anything less compromises patient safety. This continuous pursuit of knowledge is what separates a good technologist from a great one. Our discussion of competence naturally leads us to the primary duty of every healthcare professional: protecting patients from harm. This is the ethical foundation of primum non nocere. First, do no harm. In histotechnology, this translates to preventing errors at every step of the diagnostic process. Your legal duty of care means you must meet established standards of practice to avoid negligence. Practically, This involves ensuring 100% accuracy in specimen identification, meticulously preventing contamination, and having the courage to report near misses. Every technical step you perform is a critical checkpoint for patient safety. It's about remembering the human being behind every specimen and safeguarding their well-being above all else. This unwavering commitment to patient safety is the highest calling of our profession. To conclude our discussion on responsibilities, let's consider the caregiver's pledge. This isn't just a formal statement, it's a personal commitment to professional accountability. It's a solemn promise to provide the highest quality of care, maintain diagnostic integrity, and uphold ethical standards with unwavering integrity. Key commitments include prioritizing patient safety, maintaining technical and ethical competence, and respecting patient confidentiality. Fulfilling this pledge builds trust within the healthcare team, elevates the status of our profession, and ensures your personal and professional growth. This pledge serves as your moral compass, guiding every decision and action you take in the lab. It's about embracing your role as a guardian of patient well-being. Now, let's explore the patient's perspective on rights and protections. We've explored the caregiver's pledge, and now we shift to the patient's perspective. Understanding patient rights is crucial because they directly inform our professional duties in the lab. These rights are deeply rooted in both ethical principles and legal frameworks, ensuring the patient remains central to all healthcare decisions. Autonomy, beneficence, and justice are not abstract concepts. They are the bedrock of patient-centered care. Your work in the lab, though often unseen by the patient, is a direct extension of these fundamental rights. A patient's right to an accurate diagnosis, for instance, creates your professional obligation to ensure every slide is perfect. This tethered relationship means that patient rights define and elevate the significance of your daily tasks. Now, let's delve into a cornerstone of patient autonomy, informed consent. Building on the foundation of patient rights, informed consent stands as a critical expression of patient autonomy. It's not merely a signature on a form, it's a comprehensive communication process. Patients must fully understand a procedure, its potential risks, and available alternatives before agreeing to treatment. In the histology lab, our role is pivotal, even if indirect. The diagnostic results we produce are the very information that underpins a patient's informed decision. If our work is flawed, the patient's consent is compromised. We are the silent partners in this process, ensuring the data provided to the patient is unambiguous and accurate. This commitment to diagnostic integrity respects the patient's right to control their own healthcare journey. Our next step is to examine how we protect the intimate details of that journey. From informed consent, we move to the critical area of confidentiality, which protects the patient's most personal story. HIPAA, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, is the legal framework that mandates this protection. In the histology lab, we handle vast amounts of protected health information, or PHI, with every specimen and report. Our professional duty is to safeguard this data rigorously. This means implementing practices like securing workstations and ensuring patient information is never visible to unauthorized individuals. Furthermore, it requires strict professional boundaries. Discussing cases in public areas or with those not directly involved in care is a serious breach of trust. Protecting patient privacy is an act of profound respect, reinforcing the trust patients place in the entire healthcare system. But this relationship isn't entirely one-sided. Patients also have responsibilities. Just as professionals have duties, patients also have responsibilities, forming a tethered relationship crucial for effective healthcare. Patients are expected to provide accurate medical histories, adhere to treatment plans, and treat staff with respect. This reciprocal accountability strengthens the entire healthcare process. For us in the lab, patient compliance with pre-test instructions directly impacts the validity of our diagnostic results. When patients fulfill their responsibilities, it significantly enhances diagnostic accuracy and patient safety. As professionals, we must acknowledge these responsibilities while maintaining our unwavering commitment to quality care, regardless of patient behavior. This mutual respect, even when challenged, is a hallmark of true professionalism. This interconnectedness extends beyond the patient-provider dynamic into the very fabric of healthcare delivery. Teamwork. This brings us to teamwork, truly the engine of modern healthcare. No one works in isolation. We are all part of an interprofessional team. In our context, this includes surgeons, nurses, histotechnologists, and pathologists, all working toward the common goal of patient care. The lab's role is central, providing the diagnostic data that drives every clinical decision. Mutual trust is paramount. We rely on the expertise and integrity of every team member. This requires clear, timely communication and seamless coordination of workflows, aligning our lab processes with surgical and clinical schedules. When we operate as a cohesive unit, patient safety is enhanced, errors are reduced, and efficiency improves. Ultimately, effective teamwork means better patient outcomes and a more satisfying work environment for everyone. Next, we'll explore how to cultivate a culture of respect within these teams. Mutual respect isn't just a pleasant ideal. It's a critical component of laboratory function and patient safety. It's about actively cultivating an environment where every voice is heard and valued. This directly builds on our previous discussion about teamwork, emphasizing that respect is the glue holding those interdisciplinary teams together. We must align on shared values, recognizing that everyone, from the accessioning clerk to the pathologist, contributes to diagnostic excellence. This means treating all team members with equity, understanding that their unique roles are equally vital to the overall process. A truly respectful environment fosters psychological safety, allowing individuals to speak up without fear of reprisal. This is crucial for identifying and correcting potential errors before they impact patient care. Active listening during handoffs, offering constructive feedback focused on processes rather than personalities, and actively seeking diverse viewpoints are all behaviors that build this culture. Ultimately, a respectful lab leads to higher morale, fewer diagnostic errors, and greater efficiency. It's the foundation upon which all other professional interactions are built. Now, let's delve into how clear communication, a direct outcome of respect, becomes the lifeline of patient safety. Building on the foundation of mutual respect, effective communication emerges as the absolute lifeline of patient safety in the histology laboratory. Without clear, unambiguous information exchange, even the most technically proficient lab can falter. We see this at critical checkpoints, such as specimen handoffs, where precise transfer of responsibility and clinical history is paramount. Any ambiguity here can lead to misidentification or delayed processing. Similarly, the immediate and documented notification of critical results, like an unexpected malignancy, directly impacts patient treatment timelines. Even communicating equipment status or reagent changes is vital, as these can directly affect slide quality and diagnostic accuracy. To ensure this clarity, we rely on standardized tools. SBAR, which stands for Situation, Background, Assessment, Recommendation, provides a structured framework for concise reporting, especially during urgent communications. Readback is another essential technique, where the receiver verbally confirms critical information to ensure it was understood correctly. Brief daily huddles allow teams to proactively discuss workload, safety concerns, and staffing, preventing issues before they escalate. Remember, as the Joint Commission highlights, communication failure is a leading root cause of sentinel events. Understanding these communication strategies is not just good practice, it's a professional imperative. But even with the best communication, barriers can arise, so let's explore those next. Even in a culture of respect with robust communication, teamwork can face significant barriers. Recognizing these obstacles is the first step toward overcoming them, and this directly follows our discussion on communication as a lifeline. One common issue is professional silos, where departments or even individuals within the lab stop sharing information effectively. This not my job mentality can severely hinder patient care. Another critical barrier is hierarchical friction, where junior staff may fear questioning authority, leading to unreported errors or overlooked discrepancies. This fear can be detrimental in a diagnostic setting. Finally, The relentless time pressures and high turnaround time requirements in histotechnology can lead to rushed handoffs and incomplete information transfer, increasing the risk of errors. To overcome these, cross training is invaluable. Understanding the workflows of other departments fosters empathy and improves collaboration. Encouraging an open dialogue and a just culture allows safety concerns to be voiced freely without fear of blame. Implementing standardized handoffs, like using SBAR, ensures critical information is consistently transferred. Effective teamwork demands active effort to dismantle these barriers every single day. However, even with these strategies, conflict is an inevitable part of any high stakes environment, which brings us to our next topic. Conflict is an inevitable part of any high stakes professional environment, and the histology lab is no exception. It's a natural consequence of diverse personalities, demanding deadlines, and critical work. This follows our discussion on teamwork barriers, as unresolved conflict can quickly become a significant impediment to collaboration. Sources of lab conflict often include the stress from high pressure deadlines, especially for critical biopsies, which can fray nerves. Communication gaps, such as ambiguous instructions or incomplete handoffs between shifts, frequently lead to misunderstandings. And of course, personality clashes stemming from differences in work styles or communication preferences are always a factor. The professional's role is not to avoid conflict, but to navigate it constructively. One effective strategy is to focus on the issue at hand, addressing the specific behavior or process problem, rather than attacking an individual's character. The desk model: describe the situation, express your feelings, specify the change you want, and state the consequences, provides a structured approach for difficult conversations. Always seek common ground, realigning on the shared priority of patient safety and diagnostic quality. Remember, conflict is inevitable, but unprofessional behavior is a choice. Mastering these resolution strategies is a hallmark of a mature professional. Now, let's examine how these professional relationships, or the lack thereof, can profoundly impact a laboratory's culture through a case study. To truly grasp the profound impact of professional relationships, let's consider a case study comparing two hypothetical laboratories. This directly illustrates the consequences of the conflict resolution strategies we just discussed. Imagine Lab A, characterized by a toxic culture. Here, errors are met with punishment, fostering a blame culture where staff hide mistakes rather than report them. Work is siloed, leading to a not my job mentality and a lack of support during busy shifts. Communication is passive aggressive, relying on rumors rather than direct feedback. The outcome is high turnover, poor morale, and frequent errors. Now, contrast this with Lab B, a high trust environment. Errors are viewed as system failures, leading to a just culture focused on learning and prevention. Staff are collaborative, proactively assisting colleagues to meet diagnostic deadlines. Open, respectful dialogue is the standard for resolving conflict. This results in high retention, shared accountability, and a commitment to technical excellence. The critical difference between these two labs isn't their equipment or staffing levels. It's the quality of their professional relationships and their workplace culture. As you prepare for your career, ask yourself, which lab do you want to work in? More importantly, which lab is safer for patients? The quality of your relationships directly impacts the quality of your slides. This leads us to our next topic: how leadership behaviors can shape these critical relationships. Following our discussion on the impact of professional relationships, let's now explore leadership not as a formal title, but as a set of observable behaviors. In histotechnology, every professional has the capacity to lead, influencing outcomes and shaping the laboratory's culture. This means cultivating a mindset of influence over authority, taking ownership of your work and team results, and viewing challenges as opportunities for growth. Your actions, such as meticulously adhering to technical and professional standards, proactively supporting colleagues during busy periods, and constructively raising safety concerns, all contribute to this leadership. Ultimately, your leadership behaviors directly shape a high-trust laboratory environment. Advocate for patient safety by ensuring every slide meets rigorous standards, and foster team cohesion through collaboration and mutual respect. Leadership is truly about action, not merely a position. Building on the idea that leadership is a behavior, we must distinguish between formal and informal leadership within the laboratory setting. Formal leadership is clearly defined by an official title, such as a lab manager or supervisor, granting authority for decision making, resource allocation, and performance evaluations. These individuals hold legal and institutional accountability for departmental outcomes. However, informal leadership, which often stems from expertise, integrity, and the respect of colleagues, is equally crucial. Informal leaders mentor peers, model professional behavior, and significantly influence team culture and day to day morale. You do not need a promotion or a specific title to exert powerful leadership in the laboratory. Your professional voice and actions can drive positive change. Understanding this distinction empowers you to find your own leadership voice, regardless of your position. Expanding on the concept of informal leadership, leading from the bench encapsulates how every histotechnology professional can exert significant influence through their daily actions. This micro leadership manifests in technical excellence, such as modeling meticulous attention to detail in microtomy and staining, consistently adhering to standard operating procedures, and proactively troubleshooting technical issues before they impact turnaround time. Interpersonally, leading from the bench involves mentoring peers, setting a tone of professional communication, and actively supporting colleagues during high volume periods. Furthermore, system leadership includes advocating for safety improvements, proposing process enhancements to reduce errors, and taking ownership of mistakes through root cause analysis. Your presence and actions at the bench are powerful. They demonstrate that leadership is about influence and action, not merely authority. This proactive engagement is a cornerstone of professional identity. Following our discussion on leading from the bench, it becomes clear that communication is the leader's primary tool, essential for both patient safety and effective influence. As a leader, your communication skills enable you to cast a vision, clearly articulating the laboratory's goals and the critical importance of every slide. Transparent communication about challenges and successes builds trust and fosters team loyalty, ensuring all members understand their roles and the impact of their work. Key leadership communication skills include active listening, where you seek to understand colleagues' concerns before responding, and providing constructive feedback that is timely, specific, and respectful. Additionally, being aware of nonverbal cues ensures your messages are received as intended. As George Bernard Shaw noted, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. Effective communication is a deliberate act, vital for professional influence and laboratory excellence. As we consider communication as a leadership tool, we must also acknowledge that the healthcare landscape is in constant flux, making adaptability and resilience indispensable professional traits. Adaptability is the ability to adjust your thinking and behavior to new situations, whether embracing new technologies like digital pathology, implementing updated standard operating procedures, or maintaining quality amidst fluctuating specimen volumes. This flexibility ensures continuous high-quality patient care. Complementing adaptability, resilience is the capacity to bounce back from stress, setbacks, and even technical errors. It involves developing healthy coping mechanisms for high-pressure environments, learning from mistakes rather than being discouraged, and proactively engaging in self-care to prevent burnout. Resilience is not merely enduring change. It is about thriving through it, viewing challenges as opportunities for professional growth. These qualities are crucial for navigating the complexities of a histotechnology career. As you prepare to enter the job market, it's easy to focus solely on your resume. But your degree and clinical hours are just the ticket to the game. Career readiness is about much more than a piece of paper. It's the promise you make to an employer about how you will behave and contribute. Employers seek candidates who demonstrate consistent precision in technical skills, coupled with an unwavering commitment to safety and ethical practices. They also value critical thinking, especially your ability to troubleshoot issues and ensure diagnostic quality. This readiness extends to your professional disposition. It means showing integrity, taking accountability for your work, and committing to lifelong learning. These are the soft skills, like clear communication, teamwork, and adaptability that are often the hardest to master, but are most valued by employers. They are the true indicators of your professional presence. This shift in focus from merely listing past achievements to articulating your future value is crucial. Now, let's explore how building your professional community can further enhance this readiness. Professional growth doesn't happen in a vacuum, it thrives within a community. Networking is often misunderstood as merely using people to get a job, but true networking is about building mutually beneficial relationships. It's about finding mentors and eventually becoming a mentor yourself. These connections facilitate knowledge exchange, keeping you current with emerging technologies and best practices. Many of the best career opportunities are never posted on a job board. They are found through the hidden job market of professional relationships. Your involvement in professional societies like the National Society for Histotechnology, or NSH, and the American Society for Clinical Pathology, ASCP, is vital. These organizations, along with your state chapters, provide invaluable platforms for regional networking and continuing education. Your professional network is truly your greatest asset for long-term career success. This leads us directly to the power of mentorship, which is a cornerstone of these professional communities. Mentorship is one of the most powerful tools for professional development, acting as a crucial bridge between generations of histotechnologists. As a mentee, you actively engage in learning, proactively seeking feedback to improve your technical skills and deepen your understanding of laboratory processes. Your curiosity and fresh perspectives can also bring new insights to the relationship. For the mentor, it's about sharing technical expertise and institutional wisdom, providing professional guidance, and modeling the ethical standards of the field. This transfer of knowledge and experience is essential for the health of our profession. It ensures that the values of integrity, quality, and patient-centered care are preserved from one generation to the next. Mentorship provides accelerated learning, career guidance, and emotional support, elevating the entire profession. This concept of guided development is central to your upcoming signature assignment. Now, let's talk about the signature assignment for this course, your professional development project. This project is the culmination of everything we've discussed this week, designed to help you create a personal professional development artifact. It's not just a homework assignment, it's a vital tool for your future career. You will engage in critical self-reflection, evaluating your transition from student to professional histotechnologist. This includes defining clear short-term and long-term career objectives within the field. You will also demonstrate engagement with professional societies, showing how you plan to build your network. Key deliverables include a professional portfolio showcasing your best work and certifications, an updated resume tailored for histotechnology opportunities, and a comprehensive 5-year plan for your continued education and advancement. This project is your bridge to a successful professional career, integrating all the course concepts into a practical roadmap. This roadmap will help you navigate the many diverse paths available in histotechnology. As you look toward the future, remember that a degree in histotechnology is a multi-purpose tool, opening many different career paths. You might choose to specialize in high-demand clinical areas like advanced staining techniques, such as immunohistochemistry, or specialized procedures like Mohs surgery and molecular pathology. These specializations integrate histology with cutting-edge diagnostics. Alternatively, you might find your strengths lie in leadership, transitioning into lab management, or even education, becoming a clinical instructor. Quality assurance is another critical area, focusing on regulatory compliance and accreditation. There are also significant opportunities in alternative paths, such as research in pharmaceutical or academic settings, or leading the implementation of digital pathology solutions. You could also work in industry, contributing to product development or technical support for lab vendors. The key to a successful career is to be intentional about your path, using self-reflection and goal setting to align your career with your passions and strengths. Your professional identity will evolve, but the core values of integrity and quality will remain your North Star. The journey of professionalism never truly ends. It's a continuous commitment to growth, not a destination. There's a real danger in our field of reaching a plateau where you feel you know enough to get by. That's the death of professionalism. We must actively engage, seeking out new challenges and responsibilities. This means maintaining your ASCP certification through the Certification Maintenance Program, earning credits through workshops, and staying current with regulatory updates. It also means pursuing advanced skills like QIHC or mastering digital pathology. A true professional always asks, is there a better way? This commitment keeps your career exciting and meaningful. It ensures you're always providing the best possible care for your patients. The day you stop learning is the day you start becoming obsolete. Building on our commitment to growth, we must recognize that competence is a moral imperative. Your skill level isn't just a technical detail, it's an ethical issue. In healthcare, your proficiency directly impacts patient safety. Incompetence in the histology lab isn't just a performance problem, it's an ethical failure. We have a moral obligation to stay current. This means lifelong learning, not just to meet certification requirements, but because it's the right thing to do for our patients. We must regularly assess our own skills and seek improvement. Our goal in diagnostics is always excellence. A slide that's almost good enough is a slide that could lead to a misdiagnosis. Your competence is your gift to your patients. To maintain that moral imperative of competence, reflection becomes an indispensable tool. It's how we turn raw experience into professional wisdom. We can use a simple framework. What? So what? Now what? First, describe the experience objectively. What exactly happened with that challenging specimen or technical error? Second, analyze the impact. So what does this mean for me and my patients? What were the underlying causes? Finally, determine your action plan. Now, what will I do differently next time? Making reflection a habit, even for just 5 minutes a day, accelerates your growth. It helps you identify areas for improvement, prevent future errors, and deepen your professional identity. This continuous improvement of your professional self leads to a long and successful career. As we near the end, let's revisit the concept of trust. Everything we've discussed today, rights, responsibilities, leadership, and ethics, is about building and maintaining trust. The healthcare system relies on patients trusting us with their lives. That trust is built on your individual integrity. When you act with consistency and reliability, you reinforce the foundation of the entire system. Never forget that your work, though often behind the scenes, changes lives every single day. You ensure a cancer is caught early or a patient avoids unnecessary surgery. That's a massive responsibility, but it's also a profound privilege. I invite you to step into your professional identity with confidence. You have the technical skills. Now, embrace the behaviors and values that will make you a truly trusted professional. Thank you for your attention today. We've covered a lot of ground, integrating technical skill with professional behavior and ethical standards. We've explored employee rights, patient responsibilities, and the importance of leadership from the bench. I hope this lecture has helped you see that your career in histotechnology is about much more than just making slides. It's about being a leader, an advocate, and a lifelong learner dedicated to the highest standards of care. Please review the signature assignment details on Canvas. Use today's insights to craft your professional roadmap. Are there any final questions or thoughts you'd like to share? I'm particularly interested in your thoughts on the near-miss case study or informal leadership. Thank you again for your dedication to this field. Your journey to becoming a trusted healthcare professional starts right now.